to where we left off at. This is the backside of the time capsule letter that I wrote, and these aren't part of the official question series that were on the paper, but it was just extra stuff I decided to write. I was just thinking, if I'm gonna see this in 6 years, might as well write as much as I can because that way I'll have as good an idea of what was in my head in 2015. And I'm definitely glad I did this because now I have more to talk about. So here I thought this was pretty interesting. Zero dimensions, one dimensions, two dimensions, three dimensions, four dimensions. It's just something I thought was pretty cool at the time. Like zero dimensions, just a point, one dimension, a line, two dimensions, square, cube, and then hypercube. I guess is the term for four dimensions, a four-dimensional shape. I thought that was cool, but that's not really that important. But it's pretty cool. And then here I wrote, the dollar I'm giving you, it isn't worth what $1 is now. It's only worth what zero or what 85 cents is. The too bad, deal with it. Big guy. I called myself big guy. I'm tiny. So yeah, the story behind this is that I was going to include a dollar in the letter that I was going to receive 6 years later, but I forgot to include the dollar bill in the envelope, so it was just this piece of paper. But it's good I did that because, like it says here, it wouldn't be worth a dollar, only 85 cents. So, because of inflation, really, because over time, like as you print out more money, each individual dollar bill loses value. So, that's kind of what I was going at. That's what kind of what I was getting on here. But yeah, I thought that was funny. But it's good I didn't include the dollar because it was worth more in 2015 than it would be worth in 2021 or 2022 if we're talking about the present. So, yeah. Dear 18-year-old me, I'm 19 now, but let's go with it. Remember writing this? Yes, I remember. You're seeing what you wrote 6 years ago, 7 years ago now. Spend a dollar on a cheap puzzle. First of all, I didn't include the dollar, so I can't do that. Second of all, you can't really buy anything, any puzzle, for just $1. Third of all, I have a lot more than $1. I can just buy a puzzle whenever. And let that puzzle remind you of all the good times that you, meaning me, had in sixth grade. Yeah, for real, sixth grade. Even like after I moved, but especially before I moved, definitely I do have a lot of good memories from that school year. I think that was my first year of middle school, and for a while it was just a matter of me getting used to like what middle school was like. It was like for one, it was that I had to get used to like having 8 classes per day instead of just like one. Instead of just having the same teacher for the whole day, I had to get used to like going from class to class. Like add a teacher for math, a teacher for science, teacher for English. That was one thing I had to get used to, and then I also had to get used to there being more people in my school because in elementary school it's like 100 per grade, at least the one I went to, and then middle school is like 300 per grade. So that was something. It was just more to deal with overall, but I still have a lot of good memories from that school year, that's for sure. And then here, give me the iPhone 10. I'm sorry, man. I got rid of that last year. I guess when I first got this letter, I did have the iPhone, uh, not even iPhone 10, it was the iPhone XR, so I guess iPhone X would be the iPhone 10. I don't even know if iPhone XR is counted as that, but until last July, I did have the iPhone XR, but yeah, I think I did the math, or maybe not even, but I was thinking like, yeah, by 2021, the iPhone 10 will be out, but I don't even really think like there was anything called the iPhone 10. It was really just the iPhone X, which I guess still is the iPhone 10, but it didn't really refer to like the 10th iteration. It referred to the 10-year anniversary of the iPhone series. So, but yeah, I thought that was funny. Give me the iPhone 10, all caps, because yeah, if I did the math correctly back then, which I don't even know if I did, based on the rate that iPhones were being released at in the past, by 2021 the iPhone 10 would have been released. But like obviously they went to iPhone 7, iPhone 8, and then iPhone X, and then from there XR, and then 12 Pro Max. Yeah, that 12 Pro Max is what I have now. And then I don't keep up with all of the iPhone in the series. I just know that I had the iPhone XR from end of 2018 until July of 2021, and then last July, so after I already received this letter, that's when I switched from the iPhone XR to what I currently use, which is the iPhone 12 Pro Max. And I honestly love that phone because it has 512 gigabytes. I'm never gonna run out of space. Camera's nice. It's pretty good. It runs at a pretty nice speed. Like definitely something that I have been able to work with well. And then here, I'm slightly changing the future and me, whenever I add something new. That is true. Every time you do something now that does slightly affect what happens in the future because of the butterfly effect. Whenever I had something, I have power over you, so don't mess with me. Even if I wanted to, I can't mess with you. 12-year-old me can mess with 19-year-old me, but 19-year-old me cannot mess with 12-year-old me. What is it like being 18, 19 now? Am I able to drive and do lots of stuff? I'd say yeah, like now I'm able to drive. I got my license just last December, so yeah, now I have that. And yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff I can do now that I couldn't do back then, so it's definitely nice. Obviously, there's also a lot more responsibility, but honestly, like a lot of people say that like growing up, like it just gets more depressing over time. I don't like to think like that. I like to think that I can do more stuff now. I have more opportunities now. I have more control over my life. I know a lot more about the world. I think of it in a positive mindset that as I get older, I learn more about the world and there's more I can do. I don't think about it as I have to do more stuff. I take the responsibilities as a positive, meaning I have more control over what I want to do with my life. I do things that may seem difficult not because I have to, but because I want to, because that's what I want for me. Remember me and succeed. Bye. I definitely do remember 12-year-old me. And succeed, I would definitely say I've done a great job with that in these past few months. COVID was definitely a rough time in my life, but I think once COVID finished up and I graduated high school last year, things definitely started getting a lot better for me. So, yeah, this is the time capsule letter. It's definitely interesting reading through this 7 years later and just thinking about what all was going in my head back when I was 12 in May of 2015. So, back then, I guess my view of the world was much simpler. I didn't know a lot about the world that I do now. I didn't know about a lot of the downsides of like just being an adult that I now do, but like I also didn't know about some of the upsides that I do now know about adulthood, of course. So definitely is eye-opening reading through this after 7 years. But I think that this was a great opportunity for me to reflect upon how far I've come since then, how much I've done with my life since then, and how much things have changed since then. Definitely, in some ways, things have gotten worse. Like COVID, of course, happened, and also I'd say like social media has definitely become a lot more prevalent since I wrote this letter back in 2015. That is both a positive and a negative. There's positives and negatives that people are able to contact others more easily, but at the same time, people also, I feel like, spend too much time on social media. Not everybody, but some people do, and it makes them feel inadequate about themselves. It makes them feel like they're not good enough, even when that's not the case. That's just one of the things I don't like about social media, and that's why I try to limit my usage of it. But there definitely are positives to it as well. But yeah, it's very eye opening just reading through this after 7 years because this was back in 2015. This was before I had started high school. This was before uh, I'd even attended my first WCA competition or before I had started really getting into cubing. I'd just gotten back into it, but I wasn't like super fast at it yet. So yeah, this was also when I was like what 4'7". My voice was like much higher, and yeah, I weighed like I don't even remember like 70 something pounds. I don't know. Yeah, I was a completely different person back then. So much changed about me since then, and so much has just changed in general since then. But one thing that has not changed is my handwriting, because damn, my handwriting could use a lot of work. But at this point, with how much people rely on the internet nowadays, handwriting isn't as big of a deal. So honestly, I don't even know if that's going to improve anytime soon. But yeah, that's it for this video. Definitely has been a very revelatory experience just reading through this, just looking back upon what things were like back then and how things have changed since then and how far I've come since 2015. So I hope you guys enjoyed this small look into what things were like for me in the past and what things are like now. Thanks for watching.